Okay, so here we're going to go ahead and just do a 3 by 3 by hand. And if you can do this one by hand, you can do any 2 by 2 by hand. Okay, so we're going to start off. I'm going to go ahead and shrink this. There will be a second video with the calculator work on it, and that will be online, so you can go ahead and just check that out. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set up a matrix equation here. Or excuse me, an augmented matrix, and I'm going to work across to the right. So let me go ahead, make sure everything's set. So I'm going to get my augmented matrix. So it's a 1, 1, 1, and then I got my divider, 21, then I got 2, 1, 0, 23, and then I got 0, 1, 3, 25. So there's a little bit more work here. Okay, so remember our goal is going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, divider, M-A-N. Okay, so now I already have right here, I already got the 1 in this spot, so my goal is good. I already got that first spot. So now I'm going to work down. I want to work to get this guy to be a 0. I could use any row or its own row to help manipulate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take row 1, I'm going to take -2 times row 1, add that to row 2, and that is going to replace row 2. And so that work right there is going to give me -2, -2, -2, -42. Here's my divider. And I'm going to add that with 2, 1, 0, 23. So when I add these guys together, I get 0, -1, -2, and -19. So this is my new row 2. Okay? So remember, row 1, even though I used row 1 to change row 2, I'm not changing row 1 at all. I keep it the same. So -1, -2, -19, and then row 3 is 0, 1, 3. I didn't use this guy at all. Okay, and this is a 25. I'm going to erase that and clean that up. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and notice what's nice about this problem is this column's all set. Now I need this guy to be a 0. So I'm just going to take the way that row 2 is right now. I'm just going to go ahead and add it to row 1. So if I just add row 2 plus row 1, and that's going to be my new row 1, and that's going to be my new matrix. And then this one I'm not going to show any work for at the bottom. I'm just going to write it out. And then so I'm going to write the new row 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. -1 plus 1 is 0. -2 plus 1 is a -1. And then -19 plus 21 is 2. Okay? And so now I'm going to rewrite row 2. And if you see multiple things that you could do at once, I mean, go ahead and do it. That's fine. So there's my new matrix, and now I've gotten close to the goal. I have this whole column, I got a 0, I almost have a 1 right here. This needs to be a 0, so I'm actually going to go ahead and now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to take row 2 plus row 3, and that's going to be my new row 3. Because I already got the negative there, so I'm going to add them, and I can get rid of the negative at any point in time. Okay, so we got 1, 0, -1, and 2. Row 2 is not going to change. 0, -1, 2, -19. Okay, made a little mistake here. This should be negative. I didn't do a very good job of identifying that negative. And so now I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to take row 2, right? And so I'm going to add them. So 0 plus 0 is 0. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. And a negative 2 plus 3 is going to be 1. So that worked out really nice. And then negative 19 plus 25 is going to be a positive 6. Okay, and so now notice how I've kind of gone in order. I've skipped a few little things because it kind of just worked to my advantage. So it's not always going to be a top-down process, but that's a good path to follow to ensure that you're not like a dog chasing its tail, because the key part is to get all the ones and zeros and work down here. And sometimes it works out nicely. You'll see that this row is already set. So we know that z is equal to 6, or n is equal to 6. We could even use that in the actual problem to find a. We've gotten enough where we could actually solve the system very easily. We're going to keep with this, and I'm going to go ahead and just rewrite it because we are at a point where I'm running out of room. Okay, and what I'm going to do to go to the next matrix is I'm going to take negative row 2, and that's going to replace row 2. So I'm just going to rewrite it and change everything to opposites, and then that way I get the 1 in the spot that I want. So that becomes a 1, that becomes a 2, and that becomes a positive 19. I got 0, 0, 1, and 6. And so really row 3 is done. I'm not really going to do too much more with it. And so now I'm going to go ahead and I need to get this guy right here to be 0. So I can just add row 3 with row 1, and that replaces row 1. So the next step is I'm going to take row 3 plus row 1, and that's going to replace row 1. And I'm going to point out again why these zeros in this column are extremely important. Because now that I'm going back and adjusting row 1, because this guy is a 0, it will not change anything right here. Because this is a 0, it won't change this guy right here. All I'm changing is the one number that I want. And so I know the first two are not going to change, but if I have a 1 plus a negative 1, that's going to give me the 0 there. And so there's a 2 written here, but it's not 2. I don't think I'm going to be able to erase that. Give me 1 second here. I've got to clean this up. And that's what I get for not writing work down. But I'm going to take 6 plus 2, and that's going to give me 8. And then I'm going to rewrite all these other guys down here. Okay, and so last but not least, let me go ahead and push this all up here. We're going to go ahead and change the second row. So we're going to come over here, and I'm going to take row 3 times negative 2 plus row 2, and that's my new row 2. And the reason that I'm doing that is if I multiply by a negative 2, these two guys will cancel. So negative 2 times row 3 is 0, 0, negative 2, negative 12. And row 2 is 0, 1, 2, and then 19. Okay? So these guys, when I add them together, it's going to give me my new row 2, and that's going to be 0, 1, 0, and 7. And so this is going to allow me to create my new matrix, which is going to be, sorry about that, I'm on the wrong option here, my answer, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. I have my identity matrix, and then I have 8, 7, and 6. So M is equal to 8, A is equal to 7, and N is equal to 6. And there's my solution. Now this is a long 10-minute video, but because there's a lot of steps and I'm writing a bunch of stuff out, but when you do these problems, if you're comfortable with it, it's not going to take you 10 minutes to actually do this problem.